How many people do you know who struggle with their health? Chances are, whether they show it or not, most of the people in your life do. And chances are, you're one of them. Whether you're dealing with anxiety, depression, endometriosis, acne, eczema, autoimmune, thyroid, Lyme, brain fog, fatigue, or any other symptom or condition, you're far from alone. Living with symptoms has become the new normal. So no more guessing games. It's time to get answers. Welcome to the Medical Medium Podcast. I'm Anthony William. We're talking about the spring and how healing the spring can truly be, and even life-changing if you know how to utilize what the spring offers. The sounds of the peepers peeping in the trees, the robins as they roll in, land on the ground, dance around looking for a worm, the tadpoles, how they swim around the water and then surface looking for a gulp of air. And did you know that there are powers in the spring that help our bodies heal, especially after a long winter? And did you know the Earthly Mother knows who you are? Because you were born here on the Earthly Mother. Your feet steps on the Earthly Mother, and she knows everything about you. Get ready for this one. Fasten those seatbelts, because there's a lot to know when it comes down to your healing and what the earth and the spring has to do with you. It's springtime. Oh yeah, man. Hey, no, pull over to here. Yeah, the guy's right there. Yeah, man, we're here for spring break. Is there any parking? Oh yeah, we have our sticker. Oh, is this beach, is this the beach that's next to the other beach that we want to go to? You okay? Yeah. What's in our car? Nothing. What's in the cooler? Nothing. We just have soda in the cooler and some, lunch. Okay. Thank you. Woo! Phew. Let's park over here, man. If you're young and you don't have anything that's really pressing, like a chronic illness, a mystery disease, a mystery chronic symptom, something that's really holding you back, something that's interfering with your life, if you're somebody you feel indestructible and it's time for spring break, and you could just go on the beach, get a terrible sunburn, get exposed to all kinds of different chemicals, drink and consume a lot of alcohol, get totally shit-faced, eat hot dogs, hamburgers, cheeseburgers, fried food. You don't have to worry about healing. You don't have to try to heal. You don't have to worry about getting sick. Drinking out of aluminum cans, they're heating up in the sun, they're expanding, the liner inside cracks, all the aluminum's going into your bloodstream, you're sucking the top of the can, aluminum's going in your mouth. You slather on the worst suntan lotion on the planet that has anything from 500 to 700 chemicals that are terrible for you, toxic, bad for your organs, your brain, your bloodstream. You're doused in cologne, doused in perfume, you're in your hotel room, you're using the shower there, your feet are on the surface of the shower, toenail fungus is everywhere, somebody else's fungus from their feet is everywhere, gets inside your feet, inside your toenails. You meet somebody, you don't care about them, you swap spit, you're getting their herpes simplex, you're exposing them to your herpes simplex, getting the HPV, you're exposing them to HPV, or maybe somebody's on the edge of mononucleosis, they got exposure from Epstein-Barr, you got Epstein-Barr, and it doesn't matter. Everybody's having fun, it's spring break, nobody needs to heal, nobody needs to worry about healing. Maybe down the road, symptoms and conditions develop, and then you're sick, and then you're worried about healing, and it's time to heal, and that happens. But for the moment, nobody cares. And that's the spring for a lot of people. You just don't care about healing. But if you're somebody that has a condition, a symptom, mystery illness, something's going on in your life, you're working on your healing process, and maybe you're somebody that's been sick for 20 years, 10 years, or even a year, You can use spring to heal. You can use the spring to move forward and actually catapult yourself with your healing process. There are tools in nature, and you don't have to do much. And the Earthly Mother provides these tools of nature so we can utilize them and work on our healing process. As unforgiving as the earth can be, as terrible as the earth can be, nature, walking on a path somewhere in Costa Rica, accidentally stepping on a fertile ant snake, getting bitten. You're in a shed in South Carolina. You don't see what's behind something you're grabbing off the shelf. There's a black widow spider, a round body with a red patch underneath its belly, bites you on the finger. Maybe you're somebody in Australia. You're walking down a path near a water basin or waterway. Crocodile jumps out at you. Or maybe you're down in Florida and you're by a pond. An alligator crawls up really quick, gets you in the foot, drags you on down into the water. Or you can be in Hawaii and there's an area where people have dared to jump off a cliff into the ocean. It's a common place people go. Many people who are really good swimmers and jumpers and divers take the plunge. And you decide to take that plunge, but there's an unforgiving wave rolling in at the wrong time, wrong place, some kind of upsurge of the ocean, and it all goes wrong. The Earthly Mother has endless pitfalls. It has dangerous areas, dangerous aspects of nature, poisonous snakes, poisonous frogs, poisonous spiders, big grizzly bears, angry wolves, also ice that cracks, people fall through, unpredictable forms of nature everywhere. And then there's predictable forms of nature, the Earthly Mother and her healing powers. So let's get down to it. As winter is passing and spring is coming closer, our bodies know this. They're aware of this. And so is the Earthly Mother. She's aware that your body is aware of this. So a synchronicity occurs. Something inside of our bodies ignites, like a seed that's sensing its birth, like a seed that's about to sprout. There's energy involved, like the buds that have been dormant on an apple tree, waiting to swell and burst open and flower. The buds beginning to burst, all that power behind it. A healing igniter for the body is to get that synchronicity to what's happening in spring, allowing your body to connect to the Earthly Mother and how life just comes to life. Now, our bodies are alive all year long, not just during the spring. Our hearts are beating all year long, every day, every hour, every minute. But whenever spring comes, we have a little bit of an extra chance to spark up, to ignite our healing, to strengthen. Our bodies are especially in tune with nature during the springtime. And it's about making that connection, consciously knowing that our bodies have this burst of extra healing at this time of year. Knowing this alone can make all the difference. Now, this doesn't mean we don't heal all different times of the year. The summertime, the fall, the winter, we do heal. Our bodies do heal. When we have chronic illness, every day counts, every hour counts, every minute counts. But the spring offers something a little different. It offers this ignition that doesn't happen in other months. Now, during the winter months, we're not turtles under the ice, and we're not sleeping bears in their dens, and we're not bats in their caves. Our bodies are not truly hibernating. That's not what it is. And then we're breaking the hibernation. But at the same time, it doesn't mean our body systems aren't tuned into the sleeping bears and the sleeping bats in the caves and the turtles underneath the ice. Our physical bodies are tuned in. And our physical bodies are tuned in to the daffodils, the daisies, the crocuses that are underneath the snow. And even though our bodies aren't frozen, they're not frozen in one place. They're not frozen like the earth because it was really cold out through the winter. Our bodies are not frozen like ice on the lake or a pond or a river. But yet our bodies are in tune and know about the frozen. Our bodies know about the frozen ice, the frozen earth, the frozen ground we walk on. So when it all starts changing, all starts melting, shifting, everything starts to alter. Our bodies are in tune. But it's now about getting our consciousness aligned with our bodies to help it along, to help that connection along, to help that synchronicity into spring, that driving, powerful, energetic, earthly mother force, and to connect with that to help your healing process. Now, it's easy to let spring fly by. Spring go by really quick, snap of a finger, in which you don't even see spring at all. Happens to so many people, more than you think, more than you know, where they only see spring for a second or get a whiff of it, a smell in the air. They're too busy. They got a lot going on. Springtime can fly by so fast it happened yesterday. And what does that mean for our bodies? Does that mean our bodies had a burst of healing? A healing ignition occurred? That magical, incredible strength of spring went through you and you had this healing? Not necessarily. You might have had a little bit. There might have been some there that you weren't aware of, but it's that connection. It's making that conscious connection to spring and really absorbing it and seeing it for what it is, making that connection to the earthly mother that really sparks that healing, really creates that ignition. It's not just living your life and it magically happens. You'll get some of it. You'll get some of spring's power. You'll get some of what spring has to offer if you're not paying attention at all and you're just going through life super busy doing your thing. You'll get a spark, but nothing like you can get when you're focused, when you know what's happening, when you utilize nature in a certain way, when you really absorb spring. So how do we make the best of spring to ignite our healing process? Let's start with the first thing. Being aware, being conscious when the trees wake up. Being there when the trees wake up. It could just be one tree somewhere in your yard or near your apartment or in the park, and you see it. Watching the buds swell and seeing the leaves come out. Not just, ooh, I saw a tree. A month later, oh, the leaves are out. Seeing the process, witnessing it, being aware of it, connecting to it. And if you have the ability to touch a branch, to walk over to a tree with low-hanging branches that are in this early stage, or a shrub or a bush of some kind because you can't reach a branch, go ahead and do that. Grab onto that branch, feel those buds, see those leaves starting to form, and do it intermittently. Do it once a day. Do it once every 3 days. Be a part of it. Be a part of the tree's process. And if this is all you can do, out of all the different tools, it's powerful and it's that helpful. Making that connection alone can ignite healing because your body wants to heal, especially in the spring. Now keep in mind that the earthly mother knows your every step. So when you walk on the earth, every single footprint, every step you make, the earthly mother is wise to it, understands it, knows you're on her earth. The earthly mother is aware of you. And you don't have to be barefoot for the earthly mother to know who you are, to know your energy, to know your life force. These healing tools work whether you're wearing boots, sneakers, sandals, flip-flops, or anything else that you wear on your feet. This isn't about the grounding theory, where you have to be barefoot on the earth, and that heals you or grounds you. This is far more advanced than that. This supersedes that. You can have anything on your feet and it won't matter. This is about your hands, your eyes, and your consciousness, and your physical body, its ignition to spring and propelling it forward into healing. And this works if you're on Mattress Island. And this works if you're in the house and looking out the window. This works if you're in your apartment and looking out the window, or from a hospital room and looking out the window. The powerful aspect of spring and what it does for the healing happens, and you don't even have to be outside on the earth or walking to a tree or even touching a tree.
You can do the process and touch the branches and see it, and it's powerful. But the power in this is also just being aware, having that conscious connection, and having that knowing that it is the spring and your body feels it and sees it, just like a bunch of tadpoles that are teeming in life in a little bit of water. So connecting to a tree that's waking up during the springtime is one of the most powerful tools. And being able to walk across the yard or the earth or a park or the ground somewhere up to a shrub or a tree or a bush and holding on to that stem, that branch, helps to awaken, creating that ignition, that springtime healing that our bodies have been waiting for all year. Watching the trees leaf out at all the different stages is a profound, powerful healing tool all on its own. Being aware, being in the moment, seeing it happen, watching the different stages and the different colors of the leaves, seeing the colors be red and pink, eventually light green, and then dark green. All the different stages of colors that the leaves create have a truly profound effect, not only on the body, the physical body, and the healing and the ignition, but also on the mind, the consciousness, and for mental health, strengthening mental health. And as you watch each stage, each phase of the leaves forming, changing colors, getting larger, growing, you're reducing PTSD, you're reducing old wounds, injuries, stress, problems that have happened in your life, betrayal, losses, struggles start to diminish. At least the injuries involved from those are starting to diminish. You're replacing bad thoughts, bad memories, bad situations, confrontation. You're replacing it with things from the earthly mother that help us heal, change our frequency, alter our state of being, our state of mind. People with PTSD and OCD can benefit greatly from this process alone of what spring has to offer. When trees awaken in the spring, they're at their strongest point. Connect with that and know that you're at your strongest point. Even if you're chronically sick, or you've been through so much, or your symptoms feel daunting and pressing and very hard to live with, and you're struggling, see yourself at your strongest point. It's spring, and you're at your strongest point, just like those trees are. So now let's talk about the birds a little bit. Maybe you have robins come by where you live on the planet, and maybe you don't, and you have another bird. But if there's another bird and it's springtime and those birds are coming through, think about them when I talk about the robins. When the robins come to town, you know it's springtime. Sometimes the robins come a little bit earlier. Sometimes they come what seems to be a little bit later. And sometimes they come in packs. They come really early, and then they come a little later. Seeing a robin can be a spiritual experience. It is a spiritual experience. Seeing a robin can be a religious experience and can be a powerful rewiring tool. But keep in mind, you could see something but still be blind. Your eyes can be open, but you can be blind to see. And that happens in the springtime. Not because somebody's a bad person, not because they don't want to see something, because life just runs us down and it runs us ragged and it keeps us busy. And we're battling all kinds of different battles. We're moving along, we're trying to work, we're trying to live. And watching a robin and really seeing that robin and seeing what it's doing and understanding that robin and understanding how spring and the robin connect to you is just something that may not be possible for so many. But if you have the opportunity and you do see a robin for what it is and feel that spiritual connection, it could be life altering, especially during a springtime healing process. The robins roll in and you'll notice they're very happy. You can see it. There's joy in that robin. There's joy on the robin's face if you can just catch a glimpse. They hop around on the ground. They're looking for food. Sure, survival. but at the same time, they're living their life. They're happy doing it. They have energy. In fact, they're at their most powerful in this moment. They know it's spring, and that means everything to the robin. A robin exhibits freedom. Try to get a hold of that. Grab a hold of that. When you're sitting there and you're watching that robin dance around, move around, look for a worm, having that joy in its heart. Yes, joy in its heart. Connect to that. Connect to the freedom the robin has. And when you do, and your eyes are open, and you can see, your body can start increasing its healing abilities, its healing powers. The ignition occurs. This is all part of the springtime healing ignition. Your ability to increase your healing during the spring. Since we're talking about the robins, let's talk about the earthworms. Have you ever walked through a park in the morning, or through a grassy yard, or a grassy knoll, and saw these little tiny piles, like little tiny volcanoes, but they're not volcanoes, little tiny piles of dirt. They're just sitting there, and you see a lot of them. You see one here, one there, one here, one there. It looks like fresh dirt that was pushed to the surface. And you see these in the spring mostly, sometimes in the fall too, but you see them mostly in the spring. These are the night crawlers, the earthworms. They were asleep all winter as well, frozen in a deep state. And then, as the ground defrosted, they came to life and they started to get active. And this is during their mating season. If you came out with a flashlight in the early hours of the morning on just the right week or the right morning, just the right time in spring, and you turn that flashlight on in a park or a yard or an old baseball field somewhere or some type of grassy knoll, you'll see all the night crawlers out. They're going to be on top of the ground. And these night crawlers are a delicacy for the robins. The robins try to get there early enough before the night crawlers, before the earthworms go back into the earth. And they're quick when they go back into the earth. It's hard to catch them. They're fast. Just like when you're walking on the earth, the earthly mother detects you, can feel you, knows who you are. Just like the earthly mother knows the night crawlers. She can feel them crawl through the earth. They are a sign of the spring. And those earthworms, those night crawlers, are in full power. They have the most strength. They're like an early shoot coming out of the ground, an early sprout coming up. They're like a plant that's just starting to bud. They're like a tree that's just starting to bud. The strength is in that earthworm at that moment. The most strength, it's springtime strength. The earthworm has been waiting all winter for this moment. And if you take a walk and you see these little mounds of dirt, these little hills of dirt, the size of a quarter, size of a $50, the size of a dime, and you just look at them, it helps to ignite healing inside the body. And if you kneel down to the ground and you take your hand and your fingers and you touch the dirt that's on the surface where those worms came up and then went back into the earth, and you touch that dirt and you feel it with your fingers, it's going to be very rich soil, extremely rich. And you can sense it and you can feel it with your fingers, and that connection right there alone does something in the body. Energy that's in that dirt is fresh from those powerful earthworms, and that energy vibrates through the hand and into the body. Our bodies sense everything spring. And this alone, if given the chance to do this, is a powerful healing ignition. And our body systems can sense this energy and take it in, absorb it fast. And grounding occurs, holding that little bit of soil that came from the worm, that came up from the worm. That very little bit of soil in between your fingers or placed into the palm of your hand can ground you more than walking barefoot in the grass during the middle of the summer. If you ever get a chance, you can try this healing tool. So let's talk about the peepers, the spring peepers. Those sounds you hear during the springtime. Maybe you're somewhere on the planet and you're not near a lot of peepers. Or maybe you hear a peeper, but you never knew it was a peeper. Maybe you heard a sound and you didn't know it was a tiny, tiny tree frog or even a bush frog. But they're out there, and they make their noise especially during the spring. Spring peepers tend to get louder right before it starts to rain or begins to rain. Sometimes you hear them at night, sometimes you hear them at dusk, sometimes you hear them at dawn. It all depends on where you are, but peepers tend to squeak the loudest when it's spring. They're the happiest when it's spring. They've been waiting all winter long. And when springtime comes and they spring to life, they have an energy, they have a sound, and that sound goes into your ears. It vibrates throughout your body. That sound is a spring healing sound, if you choose it to be, if you partake in the peeper sounds. Those spring peeper sounds are parts of a spring's fleeting moments. The frequency to a peeper is similar to a cricket, though not the same thing, and they do slightly different things when it comes down to the healing process. The peeper is the spring. The cricket is the fall. It's a very healing sound the cricket makes. I've talked about it before. I'm going to talk about it again. But the peeper is the spring, and that frequency resonates to every single neuron and brain cell, neurotransmitter, electrical impulses, glial cells, cranial nerves, and the brainstem. And when the spring peepers release this frequency, when they emit this sound and this noise, that sound and noise has spring power behind it and refreshes the mind, the consciousness, and helps to restore thought. If you're somebody and you're walking on a trail, or you're walking in your yard, or you're somewhere outside walking down a sidewalk of a street and it's around dawn and you hear the spring peepers and it's springtime, they will keep peeping. They will, unless you get so close to them that they think they're in danger, where you're a foot away and you're about to hit the branch. They'll stop peeping, but for the most part, they will keep on making their spring peeping noises. But if you were an alien from another planet, a Sasquatch, or a bear, or some other creature that was placed on this earth by aliens, the peeper will stop peeping, instantly stop peeping, and all will be quiet. The frequency that emits from peepers, the noise, the sound, resonates to the human body. It resonates to the human consciousness, and peepers know this. It's been instilled in the peeper from the beginning, and the earthly mother knows this as well. The frequency and the sound of a peeper during the spring is extremely healing to the mind and body of a human being. Let's move on to the next tool, spring air. The air we breathe. When you step outside and you take a deep breath and you can smell that spring air. Now, when you think about it, sure, everybody smells that air because they breathe that air. It's the spring. So that's a tool? Well, that's a tool where everybody's walking around and it's springtime and they're breathing that air, so it works. It's not how it works. There's something different about that air when you're breathing it in as a tool, as a therapy. It's not about breath work. It's about knowing what you're smelling. It's about identifying spring in that air with every breath. When you breathe in through your nose, you can smell the air. You can smell the sun hitting the earth. You can smell the birds making a nest. Early enough in spring, you can smell the ice melting on the rivers. You can smell flowers blossoming. You can smell the grass sprouting up. You can smell the decaying leaves from the fall working its way into the earth. And most people focus on pollen because they got allergies. They're pollen sensitive, so they're worried about the pollen in the spring, and the springtime is their greatest hell for that reason. But as bad as pollen can irritate a lot of people, it's also healing. Pollen is a powerful healing tool on the body. When we breathe it in, even if we're sensitive and have allergies to pollen, it's causing problems. It's also helping us heal. It's igniting a healing, a deep healing at the same time. Anytime we breathe in pollen, we gain strength in other areas of the body. Our life force strengthens, even if our sinuses don't feel like they are, or our ears and sinuses feel clogged up, or our nose is running, or we have headaches from it. Our internal life force, the life force of our human body, our existence, our physical existence, strengthens as we're breathing in the pollen. So as much as it feels like the pollen is hurting us, it's strengthening our life force, our internal life force. And when we have pollen problems, it's usually a reminder that something else is wrong. It's a pointer, because pollen is a natural earthly occurrence. It's nature, but it's nature that's not supposed to make us sick. We're not supposed to be irritable. We're not supposed to get inflamed. We're not supposed to have congestion because of it. We're not supposed to have an allergic reaction to pollen. But yet so many do, because the pollen is a healer. It's pointing out problems. It's a problem finder. So that means there's other things going on, like allergies to dairy, allergies to eggs, allergies to other foods that aren't good for someone, that are creating a mucus barrier. And that mucus barrier gets triggered by the healing properties of breathing in pollen. But overall, when you're aware of it and you know you're breathing in pollen, you're smelling pollen from the trees, the flowers, the springtime, it is a healer. It is an igniter. When springtime comes and everything is sprouting out there, everything is budding, everything is rebirthing, everything is awakening, our body starts to do the same thing. So if we're sick with chronic illness, disease, if we have symptoms, aches and pains and tingles and numbness, dizziness, ringing in the ears, popping in the ears, vertigo, tremors, tics, spasms, bad migraines, skin conditions, eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis, vitiligo, back pain, leg pain, restless leg syndrome, feet pain, neck pain, constant reoccurring infections, UTIs, kidney infections, bladder infections, severe chronic fatigue syndrome, chronic fatigue, brain fog, and any kind of autoimmune condition, and hundreds of other symptoms. The spring is not your enemy. The spring is your friend. And the spring offers something very powerful to help you rebirth, to help you heal. It's in addition to all the other good things you're doing. You could be somebody and you're doing some great things for your health. You're eating good. You're taking care of yourself. You want to get better. You want to improve. And the springtime gives us that lift. It increases our chances and possibilities to heal quicker. And in order to do that, we got to catch the wave. We got to catch the spring wave. We have to feel it. We have to sense it. We have to see it. We have to partake in it. And we can't let it slip by because we're too busy and it's gone. Our blood resonates to a stream that's melting and becoming alive again and teeming with life. And our skin resonates to the rain hitting rocks and boulders and dripping off of them. And our organs resonate and connect to buds bursting on branches and flowers blooming. A rebirthing for all the plants coming up from the earth and the grass. Our organs are rebirthing new cells, cells that are dying, cells that are restoring and rebirthing. And our endocrine systems resonate to the sun's shifting, getting higher up in the sky, and that changing light. All of this says spring is here. All of this says your body can heal. All of this is connected to the earthly mother and your body surviving and thriving and revitalizing. If you're somebody with a pollen allergy, check out Medical Medium information. Go to medicalmedium.com. Check out the Medical Medium book series. Learn how to do the cleanses. Take the cleanses to your doctor. Ask your doctor what's right for you. You can do the 369, the 28-day cleanse, and check out the various tools in the books. They're really helpful, and the protocols. Check out medicalmedium.com. Also check out Telegram, where I do exclusive messages there. And remember, Medical Medium information is free. You can get lots of that information, use it, utilize it, work on your healing process like so many other people have. And remember, more people healed with Medical Medium information than any other healing arts, healing modality, or anything else in the health world. And if you get a chance, check out Angels, Demons, and Spiritual Tools. You can find it at Amazon, Audible, Spotify, or Apple. Many blessings, and God bless you.
Man, spring break is amazing. I worked so hard this semester, man. Oh, man. Hey, can you grab me another beer out of the cooler? Wow, look at this. The beach is so nice. Oh, wait. Look out.
Sir, what's in the cooler? Open the cooler, please. Sir, open the cooler.
I don't have nothing in here, man. I'm not doing anything. I just got a sandwich and some sodas. I'm not littering or doing anything.
Sir, open up the cooler now. It's time to heal. Time to move forward. My body can. The springtime will push this and move me forward. I know I can do this. It just takes a helping hand. The spring is here. I feel my healing is near. I thought I saw a deer out the window, out there. It will be okay. I know I'm healing anyway. I'm not straying. I'm on a wave. I'm not complaining. I know in due time, I will be strong. I will be fine. I can see the earthly mother is looking out for me. I can hear all her sounds. They're out there. Let me grab a chair, sit outside, smell the air. I'm aware that spring be thy healer. God is my maker. God knows I've had it hard and have been shaken along the way, but I'm not weak. God knows there's nothing that will break me. And the earthly mothers created spring, and God won't forsake me. Feel it in your blood. Don't lose touch. Spring is in everyone's neighborhood. And remember this, spring is a tool, and nothing's gonna stop you from healing. It's a tool that's there for the taking. And there's an ancient connection you have with the spring. Lifetimes ago, many lifetimes before this new rain, before this new spring. Your eyes are open, your heart is beating, your body is connecting to God and the earthly mother springing. You can heal the spring in all springs. Your body and soul will be singing.
Original published medical medium information gets stolen and poached by podcast doctors, social media doctors, influencers, and medical clinics. Medical medium information has never yet been proven wrong by medical science and research. Instead, the opposite, only proven right and then taken from medical medium published material and used in the conventional and alternative health communities. Medical medium information continually sets the stage for medical science to understand chronic illness better. If you choose to share or use the original, unique content from the Medical Medium podcast, books, or Medical Medium social media, please cite where this information comes from, so others who see and learn of this information have a chance to know where it all originates, to give them an opportunity to heal, so they don't end up losing years of their life searching for answers like so many have before them. The Medical Medium information here on this podcast doesn't come from broken science, interest groups, medical funding with strings attached, botched research, lobbyists, internal kickbacks, persuaded belief systems, private panels of influencers, health field payoffs, trendy traps, or gathered bits and pieces of gimmicky confusion. Because chronic illness is exploding like never before in our modern day history, it takes a greater force than us down here. It takes a helping hand from above. Medical medium information has street cred. It's an organic movement of countless people around the world healing. More healing stories of real people not being paid to tell their life-changing experiences of rising out of the ashes of sickness and entering into the light of full recovery, getting their lives back and finally healing when nothing else in the world of health could move the needle and get them better. The information on this podcast is not man-made. It comes from above, from a higher source. Whatever you believe in, whether God, the universe, the light, or the creator, or if you believe in nothing at all, that we're just floating through space together on this rock. Know that the information you hear on this podcast is separate from all the other noise out there. It comes from a different place, a pure, untampered with, advanced, clean, uncorrupted, original, primary source, a higher source, spirit of compassion.